It's not the work of developing knowledge. I mean, knowledge, we can read books and we can study at university, we get a lot of knowledge. We can study at Buddhist universities and we get a lot of knowledge about the Buddha's teaching. But in the end, it doesn't help us to get liberated. I mean, all the knowledge that we acquire, in the end, we have to let go. Because it's nothing. Knowledge, in its sense, is nothing than views and opinions. I mean, as much as these views and opinions might be right or might be helping us in this way or in that way, they are not wrong in the sense of the world, but they are wrong in the sense of our practice. When we have to investigate, when we have to start investigate, to develop wisdom, I mean, we can use knowledge, but we should be very careful. We could use the knowledge that the Lord Buddha teaches us, but we have to remember that the Lord Buddha doesn't teach us the truth in the sense that He teaches us a path to go. He teaches us signs, to look at them, to understand them, and to follow them. And each sign points in a certain direction. And if you follow the sign in the right direction, then it will lead to the effect that the Buddha described. So it's just memorizing or understanding what he's talking about. Is memorizing the effect that will happen when we practice. But if we do not practice, we do not know the effect. Or we do not know the impact. We just have the knowledge. I mean, that can be a great hindrance in our path of practice. So we have to be very careful. Most of the time I say, as long as the moment we start, or we are interested in practicing the path, the Eightfold Path, or the path of Sila, Samadhi and Panya, then actually we don't need to know anything about the Buddha's teaching anymore, because it's enough. We have enough interest to go along the path and to follow the path of Samadhi and Panya, Sila, Samadhi and Panya. All what we need to know for our investigation. I mean, there are a few things that we need. That is anicca and anatta. Anicca is the impermanence of all things, of all phenomena. I mean, whatever we experience arises and ceases, constantly arises and ceases. I mean, just looking at the five khandhas that make us, they arise and cease. I mean, the body arises and ceases. We know it has a long life, but we know it constantly changes. This we know. I mean, from a baby, it gets to a grown man, a grown woman, and then it diminishes to a corpse. We get ill, we get sick, during the time, all things in the body in itself change. We grow old. The moment we are born, we grow old. And there's nothing to stop. So the body changes. So the body is under the law of anicca. Feeling. Of course, we can see that much clearer and much faster. Feeling constantly changes. There's a pleasant feeling, it arises and it ceases. There's an unpleasant feeling, it arises and it ceases. There's a neutral feeling, it arises and ceases. Neutral feelings are more difficult to distinguish because we let them we like to let them more to the extreme. Memory is the same thing. It arises and ceases. It arises and ceases. It comes because of its own nature. It has a law that how it evolves, but at the moment we really do not have a clue. Thought is the same thing. A thought comes and goes. Another thought comes and goes. So they're all underneath the law of illusion. And consciousness, even consciousness, when you really careful, you will see consciousness arises and ceases. I mean, just think about that, what happens when consciousness is not there. What kind of state is it like when there is no consciousness? I mean, we are not conscious of anything at all. And when the world disappears, everything disappears.
Just doing this young fast testimony this morning. He talked about more class again. And now he said that just from the beginning, this morning is a good time around meditation. Very surprising, really, because he used to seem to be forgetful and everything.
Yes.
But this morning he just, you should just listen to it. He said not, more class should not be attached to anything but elements part and kanta, ayatana, senses, and the citta in the
Okay, so let's go on. So what happens if consciousness disappears? We don't know anything about this world that is around us. We don't even know about our body. We don't know about our feelings because there's no consciousness. But because consciousness, comes and goes so fast, we don't capture it. It's just like we're watching a movie. Actually, what the movie consists of is a sequence of pictures. But because the sequence of pictures comes so fast that we think it's moving. If we could, if our eyes would be faster, if our consciousness would be faster, we would see frame by frame by frame by frame. And that is the same thing when consciousness arises and sees. We just see one frame at a time. One frame. And memory in turn, builds up the interconnection or lines them up along a line, and then we have the past and we have the future. It just lines them up just like in a movie. 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 pictures, seems that the people in these pictures are running. But each frame of it, they don't run. So it's very difficult to discover consciousness. We need a lot of mindfulness for seeing, consciousness to arise and to see. But it does. So anything arises and ceases. So this is the first law. The next law that is helpful for our investigation is the law of anatta. This is not me, that doesn't belong to me, this is not myself. The Lord Buddha teaches us. So whatever we can experience, this is not me, that doesn't belong to me, this is not myself. We can experience the body, this is not me, that doesn't belong to me, this is not myself. The same thing with feeling. This is not me, that doesn't belong to me, that is not myself. So, with memory and thought and consciousness, the same thing. Whatever we can experience. This is not me, that doesn't belong to me, this is not myself. It's a very helpful method to get the things at a distance. To be able to observe them as objects. The moment we think I am, I'm in trouble. The moment I think I feel, I'm in trouble because the feeling and I is one and the same thing. The moment I say there is a feeling, then I can observe something. There is a body, then I can observe something. There's a memory, then I can observe something. So that is very helpful method, to put the things into a distance so that we can actually observe what is going on. And the whole process of wisdom is to understand the interconnection or the working together of the five khandhas, how they work together. To understand each khandha in itself and how they trigger each other. And it is nothing else like a clock, like a watch. I mean, there are different wheels in it, and they turn around, and each wheel, connects to another wheel. And then at the end of time, we have time. We have 1 hour, we have 1 minute, and we have a second. But the wheels don't know, because the wheels don't give any meaning to it. The person who observes it gives the meaning to it. Says this is an hour, this is a minute, or this is a second. But the wheels just turn around. So do the wheels of the five khandhas, of our five groups that we think is us. The body just works on its own, has its own nature. Feeling has its own nature. Memory has its own nature. Thought has its own nature. But they are all connected. They are all working together, and then in the end we believe that is us. That is me. That makes sense. So we have to understand, and the path of investigation, the path of wisdom, is to understand, to look at the things by themselves, to observe them as they are, to observe one khandha at a time. Now, for instance, when we observe feeling, then we just observe feeling. And then we see its arising nature. And then we see that it's not anatta, that it's not atta, that it's not me, that it's not myself. And we see the moment we attach to it, it creates a lot of dukkha. The moment we think we are this feeling, the moment I think I'm sick, I'm in trouble. The moment I think I'm depressed, I'm in trouble, I don't get out. At the moment that I say, there's depression, what actually is depression? What actually is pain? I really want to know. Because we have thousands of words, for feeling. I mean, how does it feel like? How do we experience feeling? What is actually there? What is that actually what we experience? Let's get down to the root of the things. How things evolve. So that means, from the feeling, from the attachment of our thought that is a sad feeling, we go into the experience of the feeling without a meaning, without a label, without an attachment. And just to look, what is pain? How does it feel like? Where is it? Where is it originate? Yeah? For instance, when we sit, we can investigate pain. Is it a point-wise pain? Is it an area pain? Is the whole area inflated? Or what is it? Does it change? Does it move? Does it... And we will see. I mean, even that kind of pain, constantly change. It is not constant. There is nothing in this universe that is constant. So is it with pain. It's not constant. Then the next thing, once we know, where it is and how it feels like, we investigate where is it located. Is it located in the skin? When there's an itch, we have the feeling it's located in the skin. But if the itch would be located in the skin, the skin would be itchy all the time. If the skin and the itch would be one and the same thing. So that cannot be. So pain and the skin cannot be one and the same thing. So we have to slowly separate it out. Then we go into the muscles. Is the muscles in pain? I mean, if the muscles are in pain, we ask the same kind of question. If the muscle and the pain are one and the same thing, I mean, we would be constantly. So what then? I mean, we ask ourselves, what then is pain? What is it that is pain? We want to know. We really want to know. We really want to understand where it is coming from. But that, of course, means that we cannot be loathsome to pain. be aversive to pain. We have to face up with pain. We have to be open to pain, to the experience of pain, to understand its nature, where it is coming from. I mean, sometimes you might have the feeling that the pain is in the bone. But the same question should always happen. If the bones and the pain are one and the same thing, I mean, you should be always know. So what actually is pain? Where is it located? How does it arise? And how does it come? And where does it come from? Where does it emanate? I mean, this is one of the most fruitful investigations. Pain. Why? Because all our life we were running away from pain. I mean, the moment we had some pain, we run to the doctor. We want to get rid of the pain. Or do this, or do that, to evade pain. And that is just bodily pain. I mean, mental pain. What is mental pain? I mean, sadness is much more mental pain than it's bodily pain. Because it doesn't have any bodily constituents. So the real investigation is when you phrase it, when you use the English terms, of course, is wanting to know. But not in the sense of, wanting to know through books or through learning or through study, but wanting to know through our own experience. Wanting to understand in a very different realm. In the realm where we put everything down into its basic building blocks. I mean, pain arises, first we distinguish if the pain arises in the body or if the pain arises in the mind or in the heart. Most of the time, the pain arises in our heart, we give up practice. Sometimes we feel so sorry, and when we feel so sorry, or when we feel so sad, or when we feel doubtful, or when we feel depressed, we cannot practice. And it's much more difficult, to go through a moment of depression or through a time of depression and pull oneself up than if we have bodily. So where is this pain coming from? This is just one. To investigate it is not easy to get the clue to how to investigate properly. I mean, the first thing we should know, leave away the knowledge. Whatever you hear from other people is their experience or is their knowledge. There's nothing to do with it. So whenever we want to know something, that means knowing, or I normally phrase it seeing, but not seeing with our outer eyes, with our inner eyes. Seeing it through the eyes of the chitta. That is where wisdom arises. I mean, another term is insight. Seeing inside the true nature. So we investigate pain. So pain gets stronger and stronger and stronger and stronger, and we feel, if we are not going to stop to practice, then we are going to die. It feels so strong. It feels like the whole body is breaking up. But we're going to sit down. We're going to sit down and investigate and see what is breaking up. Is the body actually breaking up, or what is? Where is this pain coming from? And then we feel that we die. And then, that is a crucial moment. Most of us give up before. Oh man, it's too much. Let's do it tomorrow. It's too much. Let's do it tomorrow. And we will never get anywhere. We have to face it up one time. And the crucial question is, the moment something tells us, I'm going to die, then to face it up and say, okay, let's see what is going to die. In that moment, if it's really honestly said, or if it's honestly meant, the pain disappears. Completely as it has never existed. That is investigating through pain. And then we understand that moment From one moment we feel completely oppressed by pain, and the next moment there is no pain. Isn't that strange? I mean, all kinds of bodily pain, when it goes, it goes slowly. But this kind of pain goes from one second to the other. From one moment to the other. It just doesn't seem to exist anymore. And if we are at that, we have to be mindful at that time. So, if we get the clue, then we get the hint that the pain is produced by the creation. They have power, of course, over our five senses. So they use feelings, they use memories, they use thoughts, to create this pain. That's why we can't find the pain in anything, that we're looking for. We can't find the pain in the muscles, we can't find the pain in the skin, we can't find the pain in this or that. Because it is produced. Everything is. And that will be our understanding when we go through. But now don't make the mistake of taking this understanding and doing an investigation. Because you will check. I mean, I just tell you the way. And I also tell you the insight that comes with it. But if we are not really 100% willing to die that moment, we will not get the insight. If we are not willing to face up with the pain that comes and get stronger and stronger and stronger, and it is oppressive. It is like, a big bulldozer, is pushing you against the wall. And the next, and he's already touching you. And the next thing is, you're just blocked. And you say, okay, let's see what is going to happen. And then nothing. All this oppression is gone. And that always happens. And you will see it the more you do investigation. It can be pain, it can be doubt, it can be sloth and torpor, or it can be even tiredness. The moment you face up with it, and the moment the creators see that you are more determined not to let them in, they give up. And the whole thing just disappears like a spook. You understand spook? Spook. Yeah. Spooky. It's a German word.
Is that how you investigate your shoulder?
Investigate the shoulder.
By the way, is it sanya that label it as pain?
Yes.
Label
and
it as
it is thought that that brings up the sanya and enforce the feeling of it. Investigation, really. Investigation is observing a watch, observing each wheel of the watch. How they turn and how they intermingle with the other wheel. And how do you call them? The cheese wheel? Cock wheels. Yeah. That is the main part of the investigation. That's why we can't have any concept, because we don't know. If we have any concept how it works, if we have a good medical education and know how our body works, this will not help us with the investigation of the body. Much better would be, to get a corpse of an animal, of a human being, and slice it up and look at it. That's much better, for us, for our investigation, than having medical knowledge. Okay, I have pain because, I have pain because I was always turning from one computer to the other. That is a logical conclusion, isn't it? And for most people in the world, that's fine. I stressed my shoulder, okay? And then when I woke up, I couldn't move it. So, for me there is no problem. If I can't move it, I can't move it. So, if I'm sick, I'm sick, But people feel depressed because they are sick. They feel depressed because they can't move their shoulder. Because they actually cannot do all the things that they plan to do. That's why we feel depressed. Otherwise, sickness is nothing. I mean, there's nothing, there's nothing unpleasant about sickness. I mean, there's just, the body, it's just like our car doesn't work today, so we put it to the garage, to get a repair shop on it. And that day, we can't use the car. And then the next day, we can use it. But of course, if you plan a trip, to New Zealand or whatever, to the mountain state lake or to our mountain cabin, then of course we're in trouble. We feel depressed. Why does our car now break down? Why does our body now break down? If we don't have any expectation, if we don't have any plans for the future, then we just stay with whatever it is, and we see. Of course, having a sick body, it's not a pleasant feeling, but it's not really, completely unpleasant. It's the way we view things that makes it unpleasant. That makes it attached to it in a negative form or attached to it in a positive. And it's just like old people who cannot run anymore. They see young kids running, and actually, that they get into the movie, right? Start going, it's the way, we have to understand the laws. We really have to go in. An investigation, please remember, investigation is not confirming our knowledge that we have about the things, but being completely open-minded and just observing what is going on. And in order to be able to observe, we have a mind that has to be concentrated on the object to be observed. So, for investigation, in the beginning, when we start with samadhi, we put our concentration on the Buddha, or we put our concentration on the breath, and we do not deviate from our object of attention. The same thing. The moment we start with investigation, we can do the same thing. We have one object of investigation. We look at it, whatever interests us, that's our object of investigation. Be it the hair of the head, or be it the hair of the body, be it the nails, the teeth, or the skin. Or then the inner organs. Be it the liver, the stomach, the kidneys, or whatever. Or be it the bones, or be it the flesh, or be it the blood, be it the pools, or be it the shit, or be it, whatever. This object we take. And this we stay on. This is one way of investigation. It's to get an inner view of the object to be investigated. And it will come up. For some people it will come up very clear, just like a photograph. And for other people it will not come up that clear. But clear enough to distinguish it as the object of investigation. Once we have this object of investigation within our inner eyes, then we can do something. We can ask questions about it. What happens if I put some fire under it? Now, how does it change this object of investigation? What happens when I slice it up? How does it look from inside? All these kind of things. And then we look at it. But we do not deviate from our object of investigation. That is fatal. If we deviate, it is just like following our jumping mind that likes to jump from one object to the other. Oh, now the liver is enough. Let's go to the stomach. Yeah? After 3 minutes, we are at the breast, with the prostate, and then we are at the heart, and then we are. That doesn't give us any results. No result whatsoever. It is just like samadhi, Now we take the Buddha, now we take the breath at the tip of the nose, now we follow the abdomen, now we follow this, or we follow the sound, we just jump around, That is the nature of our chitta anyway. Or it's the nature of the kilesas to jump from one thing to the other. So for investigation and samadhi, we can do the same thing. In the beginning, we just start concentrating on one object. We can take a tour through the body, through the 32 parts of the body as explained by the Lord Buddha, and just pick out one of the things, that has a little bit of interest. Where we are interested, where we want to know. And remember, the interest is the one that gets us to concentration. If we are not interested in the object, we don't have any concentration. It is with the Buddha. If you don't have any interest in the Buddha, we can install the Buddha mechanically, but in the background of our mind, the mind is thinking about this and this and this and this and that. And then we wonder, why is always our mind wandering off? Huh? Because actually, we do not have any interest in our object of meditation. And it's the same with the breath. If I'm really interested in the breath, I really am interested in knowing about the qualities of the breath. If I'm really interested about the Buddha, then I know about the qualities of the breath. Is the Buddha fast? Is the Buddha slow? Is the Buddha deep? Or is it shallow? Is the breath deep? Is the breath in-breath longer? Is the out-breath shorter? Or whatever? Is the breath deep or shallow? Or is it long or is it short? It is not. If we think it is short, then it's not important to make an association. Okay, when the breath is short, we are not calm. The breath should be calm. The breath should be long. That is not. We just take note. We just take note of the object of the breath. So do we do an investigation. We take note of the object of investigation, be it the liver or be it the hair. When we investigate the hair, we can go from the outside of the hair, from the tip of the hair down to the root. And then look at, what does it look at the root? What is the root of the hair? Until we see. But the object of investigation should be always the same object. To see it. It takes a long time. I know it is a very, very tedious practice. And there's a lot of boredom coming up. And then boredom is nothing else than the kilesa. There might be doubt coming up. But doubt is nothing else than the kilesa. And for some people, when they start investigation of the body, there might be fear coming up. But fear is produced by the kilesa. Or there might be anger coming up.
Sleepiness.
And when sleepiness is also kilesa. Tiredness is also kilesa. It's just that our mind is calm enough, so it likes to go to sleep. That's what the people of the world use, The mind is calm, whoosh, they're going to sleep. But we as a practitioner, we observe it, the moment when the mind makes a decision, or when the chitta makes a decision, we go to sleep. And then we say, no, I don't want to go to sleep, I want to stay awake. And suddenly, whoosh! We are completely awake. From one moment of sleepiness, it changes into a complete state of awake. Because we didn't follow the normal path of the world, we just said, okay, now it's the point of decision. If I go to sleep, then I fall asleep. If I don't go to sleep, then I stay awake.
Because of sati.
Yes, of course. Sati is the key. Sati is the key factor in all. Be it in samatha meditation or be it in investigation. Sati or mindfulness, awareness, actually awareness. Awareness of everything that is going on within our heart. Not what is going out there. What is going on in terms of our meditation object. Be it an object of samatha, that means calm, or be it the object of investigation. We want to know, we want to know, we want to know. We have to have interest. Without interest, our work will be futile. It's just like, we do things sloppily. We do things half-heartedly and the results will be half-hearted. Most of the time, we do things, 10%, so the results are 10%. They are not worth even looking at. But if you put completely our heart to it, 100%, we get 100% results.
Really? Really?
Yeah, surely. Well, And investigation, just remember, it's not, to affirm some knowledge we have about. Investigation is really wanting to experience what is going on. And the less ideas we have about what we are going to experience, the more likely the chitta comes out and analyzes it and makes an insight. Understand it from the side, from inside. Why do we call it insight? The moment the chitta opens up, it sees, what is going on, and the moment it sees it going on, it understands. But it understands on its own nature. It's not the mind that has to understand. If the mind has to understand, we don't have to do all these things. We just read some good books, that I explain very well. And the moment we understand that, okay, that's it. But that's not how insight is working. Insight is really the intuitive knowledge. And intuitive knowledge can only arise when our chitta is empty. Completely empty of thinking, completely empty of meaning, of values, of attachment. Just open to see what it is. And that's why the practice of samadhi is so important. Because it helps us to make this chitta so open, or so empty. And then after we get out of samadhi, we do the investigation and we see much clearer. It's much more powerful. So please, do not confuse knowledge and wisdom. Knowledge is through learning, through assumption, through inference. Wisdom is gained by observing. By observing, by asking the right question, by making the mind completely open to what is happening. It's just like, a very good example, if you are a little bit scientific. A physicist sits at an experiment and observes an experiment. He doesn't know the outcome. He just wants to know what is happening when these two events come together. If he watches, if he observes every moment of that process, he will understand. But if he's kilesas, if he looks back, then he has to start the experiment again. If he wants to drink something or if he needs to pee, he has to start the experiment again and again. Until, from the moment he starts the experiment until the end of the finished result, if he is mindful every step of the process, he completely understands. And he doesn't have to do this experiment anymore. And it's the same with our investigation of the body. It's the same with the investigation of pain. If we are mindful every very moment of the step of the process of what is going on, we understand it just in one time. But because we are not, or most of us are not that mindful, or are not that aware of the processes, we have to do this 10 times, 100 times, 1,000 times. Or even 1,000,000 times. So you see the key. The key is really sati. Actually, we would have to investigate all the things, only one time. If we had sati, 100% sati. Because then we would understand. Just like the physicist only understands the experiment, the outcome of the experience when he observes every step of it. Then he can formulate it. Otherwise, if he just is one moment unaware, he just looks up, something has happened and then even the rest of it, then he assumes, this must be like this or this must be like that. But that is not insight, that is not wisdom. Wisdom only arises when we observe every step of the process. So the wisdom actually comes from inside. It is there, we let the chitta observe what is going on. And we are just there to protect that any kind of thoughts as views and opinions are coming in. To counteract with the reality. In the moment we leave the chitta completely open, and then it will understand. And that is why it's so difficult, wisdom. That's why the whole process of developing wisdom, or even, mostly in the West, is completely unknown, this kind of wisdom. Because not a lot of people can do it. Even in the scientific community, think about the people who are really inventive, who are really intuitive. Very few of them are very intuitive. And the moment they are intuitive, they open up their chitta to something that is completely new, something that cannot be derived from knowledge that has been there. Most of the scientists just derive new knowledge, by processing old knowledge. And that is called inference. Not interference. So be aware. Be aware wisdom arises through the openness of the heart. Through sati. Sati in the sense that we are aware of each moment. Now maybe you understand the key why the Lord Buddha places so much emphasis on sati. And he says the person who has sati for 24 hours, for 7 days, he can reach after this enlightenment. Because he watches every step of the process. And after 7 days he went through all their 5 khandhas and really understood them as they are. And then it's enlightened. If a person doesn't have enough sati, it takes him 7 months, or 7 years, or 7 lifetimes. Just depending on the strength of sati. So now you understand why it's so important, not only in your meditation, in your formal meditation to have sati, but also when you go up and down, when you wash your body, when you go and have some food, when you come back from having food, when you arrange your kuti, everywhere you should be aware of what is going on. Because there's a lot of things going on. Just be mindful. Mindful is not a good word. Just be aware of what is going on within the chitta. You don't have to be aware of what that person is doing, or that person is doing, or what that chicken is doing, or that turtle is doing. That's not mindfulness. Being mindful of the process in terms of feeling, in terms of memory, in terms of thought, in terms of senses, that's what we are mindful. Okay.
I think the wisdom you were talking about must be wisdom that derives from concentration.
Yes.
Which is different.
In this pain. And who makes us suffer? But are we ready? No. The moment it gets too strong, okay, tomorrow. Or the moment you get too sleepy, okay, now it's time to get to sleep, huh?
I said this morning too.
Yes. I can't concentrate. Okay, because I can't concentrate, my practice won't go well.
He talks about a guy who went on cutting bamboos in the forest, and he has a wash with him, but the wash dead was there. So it's getting down to dusk. It's getting dark now. What time is it? Oh, my wash is on the set. So he's running back home because there's a lot of tigers and all kind of wild animals there. This morning was very good.
Well,
that was sweet. I know he
did talk for quite a while this morning.
Yeah, that is very unusual.
Yeah, these days.
Probably because, Why?
For me.
He talked for you? Was Jane there?
Yeah. No. Oh yeah, yes.
Yes, she was there.
Yes, she was. She's waiting to see Tan after.
So do you think it is clear? Investigation. Wisdom. And how it differs from the normal knowledge, from the normal wisdom. We call it a wisecrack. If it's very good at knowledge, don't you? If you can manipulate knowledge in a good way, that's what we call a wisecrack, don't you? use knowledge, for his, to look through the world. But that is not wisdom. Wisdom is not derived from knowingness. Well, it is derived from knowingness, but from the knowingness of the chitta, not from memory, knowingness of the memory.
But I think the philosophers and scientists in the old days, they practiced up until Immanuel Kant. He's the last one who practiced, because he used to write about meditation too, and also
which one?
Sigmund Freud also meditated.
Immanuel Kant.
Yeah.
They meditated?
Yes, but they have no teachers. So they got all the nimitta.
But also the story about Socrates. One time he was at war or something had gone, and one day he just stood there from morning to the next morning. Stood there because he was,
these people they stay in Ionia, which is the Greek on the Turkey side, on the eastern side, in the old days, at that time before. And so they learn about the Brahmins, the Indians, Brahma and Samana, the Buddhist monks from India.
Yes.
They came into Ionia and Egypt. They even learned about that.
King Milinda was before.
But that's later. King Milinda is after Alexander. Alexander himself learned from Aristotle, and he's unbelievable. he went to war, but he also took all the philosophers, all the historians, all the scientists in order to get knowledge from India. Very strange. Very good.
Concerning the practice, it is not easy to get a foot in. Investigation is not easy. The moment we do investigation of the body, and that is the first kanda, we investigate. With the body we investigate bodily pain. With the body we investigate the sixth sense. That is all when we talk about body investigation. But most of the time we will investigate the body part. Because we are so attached to this body, and that body brings us from one birth to the next. The moment we are not attached to a body anymore, we are not born in any kind of the worlds anymore. Because the moment we finish our investigation of body, we are anagami. Yeah. You always try to. And anagami does not return to any of the world. Yeah. So he has investigated the body. So for anagami, it's not the investigation of the body, but it's the investigation of the nama khandhas, of the mind khandhas, of mental feeling, of memory, of sanya. And between sanya and sankhara, that means memory and thought, that is where delusion is. That is where the delusion is hidden. So with the investigation of the body, we battle greed and hate. That means the moment we start investigation of the body, our hate will increase. And that means we are on the right path. The moment there are unpleasant feelings coming up, that means we are doing the investigation. The more hate is coming up, the better our investigation. It seems strange.
If you're doing the investigation.
Yes. If you do the investigation, then hate comes up. Because the kilesas don't want to see the disillusion of the body. They want to see the body as an illusion. So the moment we investigate the body, we get disillusioned about the body, and that will produce anger. And we have, of course, and then we have to investigate anger. What is anger? We have to say, that's a feeling. But then our investigation is going in the right direction. If there is only, if we enjoy our investigation of the body, then there must be something wrong. Then we just playing with mental concepts. That Ken was doing that a lot until he really got down to it. And that is because of our knowledge that we have about the body. I meant to look at the nature and see the rotting away of things. It can be even rotting of plants. There's no disgusting at the moment they rot. But animals even more. I mean, you do have in your environment some chickens that die, and that. I mean, that just stink. I mean, not only chickens, but there can be toucans or what is the English, geckos? Geckos and other, little animals that just stink the moment they rot away. I mean, that is the process. The moment the body is dead, it rots away. And it falls again into the four parts. I didn't mention today the four elements. That is also very vital investigation. The element of earth, the element of water, the element of fire, and the element of... What is it? Air. So that is all what we need to know. Anicca, Anatta, Dukkha, the five khandhas. We have to know about that there is a chitta, or in other terms, that there is a knowingness that knows about all these things. And the four elements. That's all. More we don't even need to know when we go along the path of practice. I mean in Buddhist terms. It can be more than it can be a burden if you know too much. I mean, just remember the story of Tanacha Mahaprabhu telling when he visited Luang Pu Man. And when Luang Pu Man said, who are you? I. Who's I, I in the sense, in Thai, the word for I and hair is the same thing. Interesting, isn't it? The hair defines the personality of it.
It's kind of calling themselves like five khandha, Phom, Phon, Lep, Pan, Nang. So Phom should be the first one, the first word.
So, and then Machaman told him, you're looking for Magga and Nibbana. We have Pali terms. Magga is the path, Pala is the fruit, and Nibbana is Nibbana. So, what you do now is do the practice. You are Maha, that means you have studied the Pali person, you have studied the text. Forget about it. For the moment, just forget about it. It just will be a hindrance to your practice. All what you do is now practice. You practice the book. So you practice the book. You forgot all about the study. Then it's a month that, in the end it will help. Once you finish all these things, then your Pali study, then you can, grab back at your Pali study. But now for the moment, when you practice, forget all of that. It's more in hindrance than not. And he did it. And that's why he was successful. Within 9 years, he got it. He got it right. And we? I don't know. We stumble along, we see something that is nice, and then we rest. Then we think, it's so tedious, it's practice. Maybe there's a shortcut. I mean, the only shortcut that exists in Buddhist terms is the teaching of the Lord Buddha. The shortcut of sati, 100% sati, 7 days, Okay, that's a shortcut. If you don't have 100% mindfulness, or 100% awareness, or 100% subtle, 90%, then you can do it in 7 months. But even that, 90% of mindfulness or sati is extremely difficult. Extremely difficult. Most of us are just 20 or 30 or 40%. So Max was recording, huh?
Yes.
Good. I didn't know if I'm going to get a talk on, that's why I didn't record. So are there any questions? Oh. Now, the moment we are concentrated, the moment we can stay on an object for 10 minutes without our mind wandering off, we can start the investigation. When we start investigation, we will see after a while that it actually helps our samadhi, so each will support each other. But if you can't stay long enough on an object to be investigated, it won't help. It won't help our samadhi, because the moment we jump too much on our investigation, it will not give us any fruit for our samadhi. So we will have problems in both ways. Sometimes investigation can start with very profane things. I was born. What can I remember from my birth? What can I remember from growing up? What can I remember from my, learning to walk? What can I remember from learning to speak? What can I remember from learning to think? All the education in our schools and universities. What can I learn from my puberty? And what can I learn, when all these things were so pleasant, then okay, there's nothing wrong against a new birth. Because for the new birth, we have to remember that we have to go through these 15 years of educating, of training this body. In other terms, we can, in our modern world, we can say from training this biological robot, because it's nothing else than a biological robot. Where the programmer sits inside the chipper. And the programmer is nothing else than the kilesa. Who said, I want to do this? Okay, boop, 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 in we go. I want to think about this, then we think about it. I want to memorize this, then I memorize it. There's just nothing else. But we normally don't get that. We don't know that there's something, that there's something in the background of it. That's why our samadhi needs to see, what is in the background. To see the mastermind. To see what is pulling the strings of this. Because with a chitta that is completely quiet, the body is completely quiet. That should give us to think. Who moves this body? Whatever movement we make. There must be somebody who tells us to move. The body just doesn't know how to move itself. We learned it for quite a few years how to move this body, didn't we? And how often did we stumble? How often did we fall? How often did we hit our head while we learned to walk? And the same thing for learning to talk. It wasn't just, just like we could have. We had to, we had to get all the muscle movements there, to pull out the sound. And of course, in the beginning, the sound wasn't that what the old people, or the people around us were expecting, so they didn't understand what we were saying. So we got frustrated. And in the next life, it will be just the same thing. We have to train this biological robot until, for at least 15 years until we can use it, more or less comfortable. More or less to do, what we are doing now. And then we don't have, we should not forget, that over the age of 50, this body will decrease. I mean, its ability, will decrease each year by year. Now we can't do this anymore, then we can't do that anymore, then we can't do that, and then in the end it will all fall apart. I mean, our memory will fall apart, our body will fall apart, our thoughts will fall apart, they become, incoherent, everything. And then we get the new body, and then we have to train it again, and then for prime time, maybe not more than 30 years, we can use it, to its full extent, and then it just diminishes, or just, vanishes. And then the next, and now think about it, how often have you done it? How often have you had a body? How often have you had this kind of profession? I mean, being an artist, being a woodcutter, being a teacher, being this or being that, being a male, being a female. We have been everything, whatsoever. We have been a beggar, we have been a recluse, we have been a monk, we have been a woman, we have been a man. We have been in high social status, and we have been in low social status. We have been in heaven, we have been in hell. I mean, you want to go there again? I mean, what's so fun about it? I mean, wherever you are, you have to follow the laws of that kind of society, or the laws of that kind of realm. You're never free. And you're always anxious. You're always afraid to die. Wherever you are, you're afraid to die.
I don't know how come. Even the tiny of the animals are afraid to die.
Yes, of course. Just look at the birds. You think, they're so lovely. But, constantly they look around, flashing the danger, coming from behind. Just observe the animals. That's why the forest here is called the Forest University. The Forest University of Dhamma. We learn from the forest. We learn from its animals. I mean, even the chickens, they were constantly afraid. They seem to be cocky, but the moment they get cocky, they're in the biggest danger. Somebody else can attack them. And you will see them, a stronger cocky, will attack the moment, somebody cries, or, takes a woman. Because then they are weak. The moment they get cocky, they are weak. They're easy to attack. Look and learn from the animal. I mean, it's amazing, especially these chickens. Their life is so familiar to us, as human beings. I mean, they just resemble our life.
Just like villagers collected, right?
I mean,
and the way they're trying to get into the kuti, inside the kuti, it's just like in their past life they used to live in the house or something like that.
Okay, so if there are no more questions, I will leave you at your choice of question.